hopefully I'll get into Form 1.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
And the boyhood dream comes true for Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton is the world champion.
It is the championship in 2015 for Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton does it in 2017, a four-time world champion.
Being a Formula One world champion is a pretty exclusive club, but being a four times world champion, where you can count them on the fingers of one hand. In what was surely his most complete season in F1, Lewis Hamilton became Britain's most successful Grand Prix driver and joined Fangio, Schumacher, Vettel and Prost. There's no doubt that he's now amongst the greats, but today we've joined him in a studio in London. Well, Lewis, last time we spoke, you hadn't even driven the 2017 Mercedes.
It
was a whole 9 months ago. And you had no idea what to expect of the upcoming season, a lot of expectation, but I have to say, it went well, didn't it?
Yeah, it definitely did. I think when we started, after we spoke, testing obviously was it was solid in terms of the running we had, but I think Ferrari did some serious pace, which we thought at the time we couldn't match. And that car seemed to, just everywhere they put it, every track they put it on, it just seemed to work without too much work.
So you knew you had some competition, but you also knew you had, you had a defeat in the previous season with Nico, taking the championship. Did you change, does that make you more motivated? Did you come in with a changed approach?
Honestly, I didn't really see it as defeat, so I guess defeat is really a state of mind, and I guess just at that time I didn't see it as defeat. I just saw it as an opportunity to grow, and so I looked upon the year and I just looked at the different things, places where I could have improved, because I did have a strong year, so you've got to take the positives from it, but then take the negatives and try and work on them, which I did. And I think I improved on all the areas that I planned to. Went to visit Toto at his house and sat in the kitchen and had a good conversation. So that was kind of really to flesh out any of the concerns on both sides, just be blunt and open. And honestly, I didn't really see it as defeat. So I guess defeat is really a state of mind, and I guess just at that time I didn't see it as defeat. I just saw it as an opportunity to grow. And so I looked upon the year and I just looked at the different things, places where I could have improved, because I did have a strong year, so you've got to take the positives from it, but then take the negatives and try and work on them, which I did. And I think I improved on all the areas that I planned to. Went to visit Toto at his house and sat in the kitchen and had a good conversation. So that was kind of really to flesh out any of the concerns on both sides, just be blunt and open. And that was, then I was able to go on holiday and through my break and into my training with a clear thought process and knowing where I was going.
P1 Sebastian, P1.
Forza Ferrari, ragazzi, questo è per noi. Grazie.
Vettel's coming out to back marker traffic, Lewis. It's still all to play for.
Yes, guys. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
You had this challenge from Ferrari. It's quite obvious they had the pace. So you had races like Monaco, where it was a disappointment.
Yeah.
And Hungary was a difficult race as well in terms of pace.
Yeah, I think the car it didn't work everywhere, and fundamentally has a few issues. Some of them are inherent from what we've had in the past 4 years. And we've taken it over, and being that it's a bigger car, wider, it's just magnified that issue. And so through the year, we're starting to see these things happen and not understanding why. And that's something that we've understood now. And then we were able to to act upon it.
But the championship all the time is brewing. You've got Valtteri in the frame as well, but really it seemed like it was between you and Sebastian. You had this extraordinary thing in Azerbaijan. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I knew right from the beginning it's going to be a key year when you're fighting against a Ferrari and a 4-time world champion. I knew that I had to be at my best. Also knew what I was working with, and there was no doubt in my mind of firstly what the goal was and whether or not I could do it. But I knew that the impact that it would have, the significance of beating a 4-time world champion and Ferrari in the heat of this kind of battle. I was like, I've got to bring my A game. And that's what I tried to do every weekend. Looking back at Baku, one of the things I worked on this year is restarts. The first one, he was asleep, pulled away, caught him napping. Then another safety car came out, caught him napping again. Lights go out, you become the safety car basically. You control the pace. And I I was letting the car go, so I did exactly the same as I did on one of the time before, 2 times before. And I think he had realised he'd been napping all those other times, so he tried to get on the gas and he drove in the back at me.
What the is going on? He brake tested me.
Vettel literally just came alongside and hit me.
Formula One always throws up these moments where you couldn't believe what you're watching.
I know.
You seem to lose it completely, and then...
I'm not one for violence really, but every now and then sometimes it can be handled that way.
Well, I mean, if he wants to prove that he's a man, I think we should do it out of the car, face to face.
I wasn't thinking of that, I think I've always, since I was really, really young, I remember when I was karting, my dad just always said, just do your talking on the track. So when I was in karting, I get brushed off by some idiot and you just want to go over and punch him in the face, straight up. But my dad just always said, just do your talking on the track. So that's what I did, and that still stands for today. So was able to remain composed. I think the worst thing was that there were certain individuals who I spoke to later on, and I'd be like, there's like, oh, he didn't do it on purpose, surely. I was like, do you realize that we're both like at the top of motorsport, Formula One? We both know how to drive the car in a straight line. And he's like, surely not. And this is like high up stewards would say this. So, and then afterwards they were kind of like, oh, actually, maybe you're right. I'm like, what race were you watching?
But, and you got your dose of bad luck in the race with this extraordinary thing that happened with the headrest, which was also a bit bizarre. So, races were lost through bad luck and maybe just Ferrari being better as well.
Sure.
But the championship started to heat up. I mean, you came to Britain and you absolutely dominated that race.
Building up to the British Grand Prix is always, there's always this incredible kind of will and just the want to deliver to the, there's so many people have worked all year to save money to go to that Grand Prix, to take time off work or bring their families down, and the support is just incredible. And I was like, I've got to make sure that I arrive this weekend with everything intact and make sure that I execute, faultlessly. And so I really put a lot of emphasis on that Grand Prix in order to try not let people down.
Home Grand Prix, mate.
Fantastic job. What can I say about these fans? I see you out there.
I really want to say thank you so much for coming. You guys are inspiring me this weekend, and this race is for you.
I have my family who always actually come to the race, but they're really, they never ask for anything. They were just happy to be in the background. You would never even know they've been there every single year. But I came on stage and I was like, guys, I want you to feel this powerful energy that I feel from all these fans. Because positivity is, it's an energy burst. So I brought them onto stage, and they didn't want to get off. I'm like, come on, guys. But we had an amazing time. We took, and I wanted people to see what I am at the core. I think ultimately the people that do really know me, who have met me, who do support me, know. But perhaps the few that are in that crowd that didn't know, this is who I am. This is my family. These are the people who have known me before I was here. and I wanted them to see this lovely family that I have, and who mean the world to me. And it was really cool to share that with them, because, you know, with this crazy roller coaster ride that I live in, yeah, I'm on a plane, I'm flying, I'm in hotels, I'm all these different wonderful, like, dreamy kind of adventures that I get to go on, and a lot of people that I know don't get to see that. My best friends, not everyone really gets to see that. So to share it for a second in real time was something that was just priceless.
But another high point was breaking Ayrton Senna's pole position records as well, and another one dropped as well almost immediately afterwards, which was Michael's. So you're starting to, you know, this season contained in it a lot of record breaking.
For Lewis Hamilton, it is the record equaling pole position.
Is this going to be pole position for Lewis Hamilton? Look at that, cool as you like. Absolutely sensational performance.
Get in there, Lewis. That's P1.
7 poles in a row. The homeboy has hit a qualifying home run.
It's all about Lewis Hamilton.
It's the record for Lewis Hamilton. 69 poles in Formula 1.
It's really strange because I don't really think, I've never ever thought about records, but yeah, it definitely was emotional to think that, you know, I remember when I was 9 years old, I was at Rye House. I think we were testing, or yeah, it must have been testing, or it was a practice day, or whatever. And I remember being at the back of, we had a Vauxhall Cavalier. We had the white box trailer at the back. My dad's in the back, and I was in the back working with him. And he said, "You know, Ayrton Senna died." And I remember that moment like it was yesterday. And, you know, when I was a kid, I couldn't cry in front of my dad. He would whoop the crap out of me. So I would, you know, walk to the front of the car, down the side of the trailer as if I was going up to the toilet. And I just remember just breaking into tears and having to, like, pull myself together when I came back in front of my dad. And that lasted for a long time. But to think that now, you know, then my goal was always to do something similar to. It's like I want to do something like Ayrton. And just to think that I have the same amount of poles and same amount of championships, it just, yeah.
Doesn't compute.
No. As I pulled away, I was alongside Ricciardo, and then there's this commotion that happens on the left-hand side.
Verstappen gets an excellent start. Kimi Räikkönen on the inside, and he's crashed with Verstappen. He's hit Vettel as well.
I go into turn 1 in second, and I'm like, yeah, this is a fantastic start.
You had this 3-point thing that you did in Hungary, where you gave back your place.
Thanks for that. Genuinely thing to do. Well done. Thanks, Lewis.
We're left hanging over the break. We're thinking, was that a good thing to do? Will he lose the championship because it was so close?
Yeah.
We're thinking this could be critical. But you came back and just smashed it from there onwards. Monza.
Get in there, Lewis. Just a walk in the park.
Fantastic result, guys. Thank you so much.
And then we went to Singapore. That has to be a defining moment, because you had the lead, but nobody expected what happened.
Up until then, I'd been chasing Sebastian, and he'd always been ahead in the points. He was far ahead, and then I got him down to 6 points, and then it was back out to 14. And it's like every 2 steps forward was another 3 steps back, whatever it was each time. But it was okay. I was like, I'm used to this. This is nothing. We knew when we were going there that we were going to have this problem, because we had this fundamental issue with the car. I went to bed on the Saturday night, and we're going to need a miracle tomorrow to be able to compete with the guys ahead. We're going to need rain. It's like, I need rain. So, like, I prayed for rain. I was like, rain would be great tomorrow.
Okay.
And I wake up, and it's never rained on a bleeding Sunday in Singapore. And I'm standing on the grid, and I'm looking up, and I'm thinking, this is beautiful. Because I'm gonna beat everyone in the rain. That just knowing firstly how I'm able to drive in a way, and secondly with the way our car is, it's like, because it's so because it flexes and whatever it does. I'm gonna have them overtake most of them by the 10th lap. That's my mindset, you know? And then, obviously, as I pulled away, I was alongside Ricciardo, and then there's this commotion that happens on the left-hand side.
Verstappen gets an excellent start. He'll be right on the inside, and he's crashed with Verstappen. He's hit Vettel as well.
I go into turn 1 in second, and I'm like, yeah, this is a fantastic start. And I was looking forward to having the next battle with Sebastian and then with Martin.
That is a championship-defining moment.
And then after that was like, okay, I've got this easy 25 points now. It's all mine to lose. So like the pressure switches, you know, it switches from the attacking to then the defending. It was so easy to make a mistake through that, you know, that race. It was very, very slippery. And, you know, the one thing in my mind in that race particularly, I was thinking about Senna crashing in Monaco and just thinking, don't drop the ball. Don't drop the ball once, you know. You've done this a million times, do not drop the ball. And I didn't. And that's, for me, that was a continuous kind of reassurance to myself that I've got this. And of course, you know, then that's a 25-point swing, and then there's still lots of races to go, but I was kind of that, this is now the wind's in my sail.
So we're waiting now, aren't we? After Singapore, we're actually thinking, okay, when is it going to happen? But finally it happened, and it happened in the most peculiar way, didn't it? But it happened at least in Mexico.
Obviously, I could have just backed off and let these guys go and battle their way into the lead and easily finished third. But I was like, no, I'm here to race, and I was excited about this race with these two drivers.
I've got a flat tyre, guys, flat tyre.
Copy, Lewis. So box, box.
I left a lot of space. Like, I couldn't have left more space for Sebastian. But he chose to use a lot more room than he needed to, and but again, karma, in my mind, karma. That's, you know, sometimes, you know, he knew I was ahead, lost his wing, had to do a stop. I think he obviously drove great to come back, but and I was in the middle, I was in no man's land trying to come back, and I've got a massively damaged floor, so I was losing. I didn't know till after the race that I was losing a lot of downforce. And so to come across the line, I think it was in 9th or whatever, and win the championship. Through the whole race, I had no idea.
Lewis Hamilton crosses the line now to become the 4-time world champion.
Get in there, Lewis. Champion of the world.
Thank you, Lewis. Thank you. 4-time, thank you.
I'd like to say a big thanks to everyone in this team. I'm just so grateful for all your hard work this year. God bless you.
I guess some races don't matter, it's just the championship is so much of a big prize, isn't it? Great arena to do it as well, the amphitheatre, and you jumped out the car and started running around. Did you know where you were going there? There was all sorts of chaos
I think my mind was just firing in all cylinders and going all over the place. So I got out and I was like, I'm going to go for a jog. Jeez, I didn't realise how far it was from that hairpin all the way down to the pit lane. Jeez, it was so far. I'm running and I'm thinking, geez, my heart's going to explode. I get back to the garage, I nearly pass out. And I remember someone was standing there with a tray of champagnes. I just took a swig of that, downed it, and it didn't taste good at all. But
by that point, you'd crossed over into a completely different world, really, in terms of Formula One history. 4 world championships. Fangio, Prost, Schumacher, Vettel, Hamilton.
Yeah.
That's it. Part of that gang.
That's crazy.
There's still a few more out there with a few more championships.
Yeah,
but it's a very small club.
It's it's crazy, man.
Well,
dude, I was like this small when I was watching you race.
Yeah, well,
you know, you guys, you legends. I was out there watching you guys and playing. You know, I was playing computer games with you guys as the drivers. And
the only thing I can say from any comparison, I've only got one championship, but I mean, I know what it's like to be you're inside this story. We're on the outside watching. We're watching this progress of yours, and every year, this year, how would you quantify your driving? It seems to me you were driving even better than ever before. You seem more relaxed.
Yeah, I would say more assured of myself this year, I would say, than ever. And I think that comes from a lot of different things. But obviously, I'm getting older, so that comes with that. I think confidence in your work, your work ethic, your work relationship with the guys that you're working with. We had almost a bulletproof plan and structure of how we were doing things. I think there was a great positive energy in the team, a new resurface positive energy within the team that hadn't been there for a while, and plus we were fighting another team, so again everyone was super encouraged to go that extra distance, and same for me. I was like, I'm going to prove to this team that and to Mercedes and to my family and to everyone else, and even myself, what I can do, who I am, why I'm here, and I'm not going to stop until it's done.
Still more to come then, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, I still have, even though the championship's won, I've got, I still feel if I was racing every weekend, I would still have the same mentality as I have. You just want to be your best. You want to make the right decisions. You want to overtake in the best ways possible. You want to qualify in the best ways possible. So until I decide to stop, I'm going to keep giving it everything. And I'm enjoying driving more than ever before in these new cars. So going to give it everything for next year. I'm hoping McLaren, with the new engine on board, hopefully finally they can rise from the drought and come back into a positive light and be the great team they are. And obviously they've got another, so have that world champion in the mix. That's for me probably the most exciting. So myself, Sebastian, and Fernando, for me, that's what's on top of my mind.
We're not at the point where you're stopping just yet, but we're stopping for Christmas, and you'll have time perhaps to reflect. Maybe it'll sink in what you've achieved this year. How are you going to let yourself go? Do a bit of skiing? I see you out there with skidoo and snowboarding and stuff. And
I'm a bit of an extremist, so I'm always doing stuff. So I'm going to try and do as much as I can in the. I mean, this part of the year, December and January, is really the one bit of downtime you get during the year where you're really in one place for a period of time. But it goes so quick. And before you know it, because you have to get back into training, you're already back in beast mode, trying to think about destroying everyone in the next season. So it's really just about utilizing the precious moments that you get, making memories in the small time that you have, and cherishing it. So that's, I'm going to do hopefully I'll do some sports, come back stronger for next year.
Great. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thanks very much for your time, Lewis. Hope
No problem.
you and the Hamiltons have a fantastic Christmas.
Thank you.
And come back next year and do it all again.
Hope so. Good to see you, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.